Living abroad sounds amazing until this happens. Stay until the end to see what no one tells you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more real English conversations. Here we go.
Living abroad sounds like a dream, right? Like everything in your life is finally going to fall into place and make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just move to another country and suddenly everything becomes easier, more exciting, and more meaningful.
Wow. I remember having that exact feeling before I moved, thinking to myself, this is it. This is where my life really begins.
Same here. I truly believed that changing countries would automatically change everything about my life for the better.
And in some ways, it really does change things, just not always in the way we expect at first.
Yeah, that's the part people don't really talk about, because most of the time they only show the good side of it.
Exactly. People usually share the highlights, the best moments, the fun experiences, the exciting parts.
The photos, the trips, the cafes, the beautiful places.
And the sunsets. Always the perfect sunsets.
Yes, always the sunsets, but never the difficult moments happening behind the scenes.
Never the quiet nights when you're just sitting alone, thinking about everything and trying to process it all.
Yeah, those moments feel very different from what you imagined before moving, and that's when reality starts to feel a bit more present.
But before all that happens, there's that first phase where everything feels amazing and you're just enjoying every little moment.
The excitement phase, when everything feels new, interesting, and full of possibilities, and you're constantly observing how things work.
Even the simplest things feel special, like going to the supermarket or using public transportation for the first time.
Yes, you look at everything like it's something incredible and completely different, even small everyday situations.
You're constantly thinking, wow, this is so different from my country. And sometimes you try to interact in simple ways just to feel part of it.
Yeah, like starting with basic phrases such as, "Hi, how's it going?" or "Excuse me," just to sound natural in small interactions.
And you begin to notice that people use very simple expressions all the time, like "got it," "no problem," or "sounds good."
Exactly. And you realize it's not about using difficult words, but about using the right expressions in the right moment.
Sometimes even saying, "Yeah, that works," or "I'm good with that," already makes you sound more natural and comfortable.
And little by little, you start understanding that everyday English is more about connection than perfection.
And that's when things start to feel a bit more real, even if you're still figuring everything out.
Even small things like how people talk, how they behave, or how they order food.
And you feel this sense of freedom, like you're starting a completely new chapter in your life.
A fresh start where you can reinvent yourself and become a different version of who you were before.
That feeling is very strong in the beginning, and it gives you a lot of motivation.
You keep telling yourself, "I made the right decision. This was the best choice for me."
And you truly believe that, because everything still feels exciting and new at that moment.
But then, slowly, things begin to change and reality starts to show up.
Yeah, reality comes little by little, not all at once, but enough for you to start noticing.
At first, it's small things that don't seem like a big deal, like not understanding something someone says.
Yeah, someone speaks naturally at full speed, and suddenly your brain just freezes.
Yes, that moment when you're like, "Wait, what did they just say?"
And then you go, "Sorry, can you repeat that?" Or "Can you speak more slowly?"
And sometimes, even when they repeat, you still don't fully understand what they meant.
So you just smile and nod, pretending everything is fine, even when it's not, and maybe say something like, "Yeah, got it," even if you're not 100% sure.
Haha, yes. We've all done that more times than we'd like to admit, just trying to keep the conversation going.
Sometimes people speak so fast that you feel completely lost and disconnected from the conversation, and you just think, "Sorry, can you say that again?"
And that's when you start thinking, wow, I really need to improve a lot, especially in real conversations.
But at the same time, you realize that this is part of the process of learning, and it's okay to say, "I'm still learning."
And then comes the emotional side of living abroad, which can be even more challenging than the language itself.
Yeah, missing people becomes very real, much more than you expected, and sometimes you just say, "I miss home."
You start missing your family, your friends, and even your daily routine back home, the things you didn't even notice before.
Even small things like familiar places or your favorite food suddenly become very important, and you catch yourself saying, "I miss this so much."
Yeah, food becomes a big thing, and you start wondering why you miss it so much, even simple meals.
Some days feel okay, even good, and you feel like you're adapting little by little.
But some days feel really long and heavy, and you start questioning everything, even your decision.
Living abroad really makes you reflect deeply about your life and your choices in a way you didn't expect.
It changes how you see the world and how you see yourself in it.
And sometimes that can feel uncomfortable, but at the same time, very powerful.
Because you're growing, even when it doesn't feel easy at all.
Exactly. And that kind of growth is something you carry with you forever. And then, after some time, things start to feel different. Not exactly easier, but definitely more familiar. Even simple things like ordering food or asking for directions feel easier and more natural.
Yeah, and that's when you realize that making mistakes is completely okay.
Because at the end of the day, being understood matters more than being perfect.
And then, something interesting happens.
You start building a routine, and life begins to feel more stable again.
And without noticing it, the place doesn't feel so foreign anymore.
It starts to feel a little bit like home, even if it's different from what you're used to.
Because at the end of the day, being able to communicate makes everything easier.
Especially in everyday situations, like going out, meeting people, or even something simple like ordering food.
Oh yeah, ordering food can be surprisingly stressful at the beginning.
Yes, choosing what to say, understanding the menu, speaking clearly, it's not as easy as it seems.
But once you get used to it, it becomes something natural, almost automatic.
Yeah, in the next video, we're going to show you how to order food like a native.
With simple phrases, real examples, and natural expressions you can actually use.
So you can feel more confident the next time you're in that situation.
See you there.